Okay, guys, welcome to the Pat Down Podcast. Got a very special guest. I know I always say that, but you might recognize the man sitting next to me, Bob Schneider, a.k.a. B Schneider, right? A.k.a.
I like B Schneider.
B Schneider, a.k.a. Dr. Bob. I've been calling you a little bit
Dr.
now.
Bob?
Yeah, Dr. Bob.
Wow.
You know,
All right.
Count Schneider.
Count Schneider.
You know, I don't know. Bob Ram. I don't know. You've probably heard all kinds.
I have never heard any of these, but I don't talk to people, so I don't know what people call me. So far, we're still. I'm fine with all of these. None of them sound too bad.
I don't have any AKAs, so I need maybe P-Funk. I have a cousin that calls me P-Funk.
Oh, that's
but
nice.
That's it.
Yeah.
Or Patty. You know, me and Patrick, you always get Patty, which I hate, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's not good.
Right,
it's
that
like
sucks.
they're calling you a girl.
Pretty much.
You don't
yeah.
want that.
Well, remember when Pat was big in the SNL, like in the 90s?
right,
Oh, dude, that was a
right.
nightmare for me in school, bro.
Yeah.
Total nightmare. I thought maybe I should just cut my hair and wear the glasses. Fit the part. You
Yeah.
know, like... I didn't know. So, okay, man. Well, yeah, I have a few things I want to talk to you about. Nothing too crazy, man. Let's see. I just have a few questions, obviously. We'll get right into it. You know, I put a thing up on a couple of your fan pages to say, hey, if you guys have any questions for Bob. That might have been a mistake.
Why? Did you get some questions?
Oh, I got a million.
Oh, you did?
I got a million questions.
Man, I have a podcast. I ask for questions all the time, and I hardly get any. I don't know what that means.
I don't know, man. They were all excited to ask
chime
you.
in.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, what you got?
Okay, so I'm going to start with my own.
All right.
Okay, so we kind of have a mutual friend, Eric Jarvis. You know Eric a little bit.
Eric.
So he wanted me to ask you about this specifically. So I guess you guys are recording a song called "The Stranger." No, Mudhouse. Excuse me. And there was a story about the stranger. It's on the Californian, right? So there was something about you sleep on your hand. I mean, not you sleep. You sit on your hand.
If your hand goes to sleep and then you jack off,
you jerk off with your hand. That's the
hand.
stranger.
Yeah,
right.
It's sort of like that deal where, like, if you at any point realize you're sleeping, you just try to fuck whoever's. You like try to manifest something to fuck in your dreams. You ever have that where you have a waking dream or like
all the time?
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good. So yeah, so I mean, do you do that? Like, as soon as you realize you're asleep, do you try to, like, I'm immediately like, I'm looking around my dream, trying to find some woman to fuck, and then because I'm like
in my dream,
because now I'm dreaming at that point, I'm realizing so I can now I can fuck anybody because it's a dream. But what ends up happening is I'll find somebody and then they'll turn into something weird.
The person will turn into something weird.
Yeah, like they'll turn into like a fountain or something. It'll be a woman and then she'll turn into a fountain, or my dick will turn into like a paintbrush or something. It never works out.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. No, my thing.
So the stranger is similar, where it's like you realize, oh, my arm's asleep. Now I have a limited amount of time to jack off. Like there's a timer at that point.
Oh yeah, where the blood starts flowing back.
Yeah, eventually you're gonna get some feeling back into that.
Feel the sharp pains.
Right.
Okay. So well,
I don't think I've ever actually done it. I mean, maybe I tried once back in the day, but it really is something. It's sort of like seeing a Yeti in the forest. It's something I think that unless it's something that you're trying to do where you're trying to put your arm to sleep, which seems like a lot of work.
No, man, that's
just
too much.
Masturbate.
Yeah. That's too much work to jack off.
Yeah.
Personally,
and you could kill. You could like lose an arm
by doing it too much.
Well, just by even doing it once, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the policy is.
How long
it takes for an arm to fucking die without blood. I don't know any of it. 2 minutes?
I don't know. I don't want to try.
2 minutes?
2 minutes.
2 minutes without blood, and you have to amputate your arm.
It's gone.
Wow.
Dude. 2 minutes. Gone.
That sounds like not enough time. I was thinking more like 10 hours.
10 hours.
Without blood.
That's probably more likely, actually.
That's probably more likely.
Yeah. I mean, my time frames.
2 minutes would be scary.
Dude, can you imagine if timer's ticking down? Holy shit, I'm about to lose my arm.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do. Okay. I have another question. Oh, this is from a friend of mine named Tom Many. He's a local artist here. He had a question about the song club.
Yeah.
So like, when did it start? Like, what was the origin of it? And have you ever missed a week?
Yes, I have missed a week. It started probably around, I want to say 2000, maybe 99, somewhere in there. And I was living out in Hyde Park, and my neighbor was Casey Crowley. Do you know her? Singer-songwriter. And her husband, Carl, who's a writer, is a writer. And we were hanging out over there one day, and we were like talking about songwriting. And then I was like, well, we should like, let's challenge ourselves to write a song between today and tomorrow, and we'll come up with a phrase or a word, and then we'll both write a song using the phrase of the word. So we did that, and we told Carl, we're like, you write a poem, Casey, write a song, I'll write a song, and we'll come back tomorrow, and we'll play the songs for each other. So we did that, and it was fun. So I just started doing it with them, and then like Andy Langer was part of that group of people that we all hung out together, and Jeff Klein, who's a songwriter as well. Do you know Jeff? Anyways, he was over there one day.
I'm so horrible, dude.
So I don't either. Yeah. I mean, this has been this is 18 years ago when I knew people.
Okay, right on.
So yeah, that's, you know, you're married. So once you get married, you stop knowing people. You don't want to know people. You don't have time to know people. Yes. So this is pre-marriage when I knew people. And so just whoever was around, we'd start inviting them. And then, so I did that a few times with them. And then, so then I had the idea to do it. And then I started doing it in earnest when I started going on tour, I think in 2001, because I'm in my band, I had Billy Harvey, who's a great songwriter.
Him I know.
Yeah.
His stuff's great.
And Bruce Hughes, my bass player, is also a songwriter. And also I was on the opener was Steve Poltz. Do you know Steve? Singer-songwriter. He was out of San Diego, but he lives in Nashville now. So so it was, you know, just a bunch of dudes hanging out. We're on a tour bus, so we had plenty of time. And I brought up the song game with those guys, and we really did it in earnest on that tour, because I think it was a 3-week tour, and we probably wrote maybe 18 songs in 3 weeks.
Damn.
We were just doing it every day. So every night after the show,
every day.
Yeah. So what we do is we'd come up with a phrase in the morning. Well, the first day we came up with a phrase, and we're like, all right, today after the show, each of us will have written a song, and then we'll play it. So every night after the shows, we would play the songs for each other on guitar, come up with a new phrase, and then do it. Repeat
so
that.
You came up with the phrase afterward.
And
do you think it was? Do you think that phrase might have been inspired by things you hear? You know, you heard from that.
No. We would just come up with any
random.
I think I remember one of them was Cashville, because we were playing in Nashville. So somebody was like, "Oh, we should do Cashville," because that's like a phrase for Nashville. But we wrote a bunch there, and then from that time on, we just started doing it every time we'd be on tour.
Okay, right on.
And because me and Billy were always kind of fighting for dominance, for songwriting dominance,
the best song
in that environment.
Yeah.
And the thing that was really neat about it, I thought, was, first of all, he's a genius and he's super talented.
Yeah.
And this was, you know, in 2001, I was winning a lot of awards because I just come up with my record, Lonelyland, and it was doing really well at Waterloo, and I was getting a lot of press, and I was winning like Musician of the Year, Songwriter of the Year. So I thought I was hot shit.
Yeah.
And
you are hot shit, Bob.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I was actually just fishing for that compliment. And
it's the only one you're gonna get.
But what was happening was he was kicking my ass. Like every time we'd write a song, he would just kill, like his songs were crushing. And so it was great, and it was great for him too, because here he was, a side guy for me, and he knew he was better than me, but he was the side guy, so he was killing it for his own sense of, you know, feeling good about himself. And it was really good for me because it just made me realize, oh, I need to fucking get better
at this. Yeah.
And it really did. It was really great in terms of inspiring me to want to be a better songwriter. And
that's awesome.
And it worked. And so we did it for, years. Until I think he was in the band until maybe 2006, 2007, something like that. So for 5 years we did it a lot. And then once he was out of the band, we switched it over to emails and started doing doing it over emails, and have been doing it ever since.
But it's not every day now, right?
No, it went once we started doing the emails, it was like every 3 days. And then we were trying
to still like,
we were trying to do that for a few years, and then we realized it's just too much to write that many songs. Well, we started, I started having kids, or I had a kid and got married, and so it ended up being once a week, and it's been once a week now for at least 10 years.
That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, that is just nuts, really.
And we'll miss a week here and there, but I probably on the average write about 45 to 50 songs a year just in the song game.
Yeah, that is nuts. I mean, have you ever used one of those songs?
Oh, all this? No, every song that's on every record I've made since then is I've written that way.
No way. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That surprises me, honestly. Wow.
Yeah, I don't write any. I mean, yeah. I mean, every once in a while, I'll write a song
outside of that.
But
have you heard anyone else's song that you were like, oh yeah, I want that?
Oh no, I mean, have I? Oh, for sure, yeah. People have written great songs in the game.
You're like, oh damn, I want that song.
The thing that I find the thing that's the most amazing about it is, I mean, it's been 18 years now that I've been doing it, and you'd think after all that time, like with phrases as specific as like bicycle versus car or Sons of Ralph or something, that at some point somebody would write a similar song, and never has anybody written.
That is pretty crazy. You're right.
Anything even close.
That is pretty nuts.
Yeah, it's weird.
That is weird, because that's thousands of songs.
Thousands of songs, and never have any of them been alike.
That's the beauty of music, though. That's what I find fascinating about a guitar or a piano, or it's limited.
Yeah,
and it's limited, but at the same time, it's not. It creates unlimited things. That's funny to me.
Well, you can also write a song that you heard and not realize you did that as well.
I do that all the time.
Well, people do it.
It's influenced, right? And I don't realize it as I'm writing it, maybe, or
right. I don't think the person necessarily they don't realize that they're writing something they've heard before. But for some reason,
I feel like I do that anyway. It's not to every song, but I feel like it happens every once in a while.
Well, I'm real sensitive to that. Like, I'm real aware. Like, every time I write anything that's even like, I'm like, is that other song? Yeah. And then I'll track down the song that I think it is, and it never is. I mean, the good thing about me is, like, I'm not a good musician. So even if I think I'm trying to write, if I hear something in my head and I try to write it, I can't write it because I'm not good enough to play it.
Me too.
I think people that are really good musicians, they can play anything they hear.
Yeah.
They have a much harder time writing stuff because anything they hear, they can write, and so they're going to end up writing stuff that they've heard before, much more so than I
see what you're saying. Oh, that's great. I see what you're saying. That's interesting.
Because I can't play it, it's going to come out different.
I'm a horrible musician too, man. I say that all the time. Like, I cannot play guitar to save my life.
I think that makes you a better songwriter.
I just focus on songwriting. I don't really care about the guitar.
Right.
I don't. I just like the song, and this guitar. That's how I started to play guitar, because I wrote a song and wanted to play it. So shit, I got to get a guitar and figure this out. So the guitar for me is just a tool to get my song out, because I could care less about it, to be honest.
Well, lots of times I'll write songs, and the way I write songs, I write them using the computer. So I'll sit there with the guitar and I'll just like come up with like I'll just be playing notes.
Yeah.
And then I'll loop them and then add some other notes. And so I don't know, end up understanding what I'm playing. I don't know what chords I'm playing. I know it sounds fun. Like, I'll play something until I'm like, oh, I like the way that sounds.
Yeah.
And then I'll write a song using that, and then I go to my band and go, because they're all amazing musicians. Totally. Everybody that plays.
You got to surround yourself with like the best, right? Like,
well, you hope.
Yeah.
You hope for the best. And then I'll ask those guys, I'm like, what is this? And they're like, oh, that's a G sus6 with a
sus7 8. Yeah, totally. I hate that shit when people tell me that shit. Get the fuck out of here. I don't want it. That's too much for me. Like,
well, or
it's too technical.
I just need to know so I can play it like solo. Like if I'm playing a solo gig, I don't know what I'm playing. Well, if I try to figure it out, I'm like, what, you know, be playing a G chord all over the guitar.
I cannot name chords. Yeah. I know G's, you know, I know the majors and stuff. But
all you need to know is G, E minor, C, and D, right? That's all the songs in the world.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. I started with GC. Like that was it. I still play. I like 18 years later, I feel like I still play the same.
Yeah. I feel like GC is like one chord too many. I'm telling you but for years I played when I started playing, back in 89 was when I had my first band here, Joe Rockhead. It was just a rap band, so we were just playing one
rap band.
Yeah, we were just playing one, you know, like one chord.
Limp Bizkit sort of stuff. Like I don't know what a rap band
like
is.
Yeah, it was like Chili Peppers.
Okay,
it's basically a Chili Peppers ripoff.
Okay, right on. Yeah. Well, fuck, I love the Chili Peppers.
Yeah, it was great. But we played at this place downtown called Black Cat. It was huge deal. It was a big party. Like we got signed and did the whole deal, but band broke up.
It happens, right? That happens. Yeah, you've been in a million bands, dude. I've been in like 2.
Well, I've been in a few, not a million, but I've been in a few. And
I mean, you've been just a single artist for, you know, I've been such a long time
since I guess I went solo around 99.
Why did you do that? What made you?
Because I just was tired of listening to the drummer tell me what the fuck he wanted to do. I'm like, fuck you. I'm writing the songs. I'm gonna start.
I fucking love that.
But for a long time, I was just too afraid, you know, to make decisions and stuff. And so it took me a while to like finally go, well, I gotta either start making the decisions and being responsible, or have to continue to listen to what
you were like. If he asked for one more drum solo, I'm fucking done with this guy.
Well, it was a drum solo, and I always say that just because it's funny, you know. But really, it's just I just didn't like the anarchy of playing in a band where everybody had a vote, because it's like being in a marriage with people that you don't necessarily want to be in a marriage in. So now I'm the boss. I hire people I like, and then if things don't work out, I just get somebody else. You know? And then I make the decisions, and if people like it, they can stay, and if they don't, they can find something else to do. It makes it real easy.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, you know, that seems to me like a tough decision to make. Like I remember, you know, look, when you started playing music, how old were you when you started writing songs? In high school and stuff, or?
I mean, in high school I was making up stuff.
Were you thinking like, oh, I want to be a single artist one day, or was it when you start playing music? Isn't it always like, I want to be in a band, I got to get in a band? Like, all right, that's how we all start. It feels like.
Well, I played music my whole life. My dad was an opera singer, but he's also played guitar and knew a lot of cover songs. So I grew up listening to him play guitar around the house. He'd have parties and he'd pull out the guitar and entertain his guests and stuff, doing like King of the Road and
really,
you know, Let's Go to Lukenbach, Texas. He knew 1,000 cover songs. He didn't write any songs himself, but I saw him entertaining people, and I was like, oh, that's what my dad does.
Yeah.
And he taught me and my sister how to play guitar, and we learned a couple songs. That's cool. And so we'd play those songs, and it was fun. I enjoyed that attention, but it was just like, I never thought like I would ever do it. It was just like, well, that's my dad's thing. I drew my whole life. And so I got really good at that. And I just was like, well, I'm going to do art. You know, that's what I really love. And I'll do it. But then when I got into high school, I started playing. After school, I'd get together with my best friend. He played drums, and I had a electric guitar. So we started writing some songs, and then there was a talent show. We played the talent show with some songs that I'd written, and we just it was exciting. And we got kicked out of school because we wrote some songs. One of the songs,
like expelled.
Well, not expelled. We got suspended for a few days because we wrote some, you know, some funny songs about some of the students and stuff, and people got their feelings hurt, and you know, one of the parents complained, and so we got kicked out for a couple days. So it's fun. It was great. It was cool.
Yeah. Like, well, you were rock stars at that point, right? Everyone was like, "Oh, fuck."
Yeah. So it was. I went from like, no, but you know, like it was.
They did you a favor.
Yeah.
Technically,
it was cool, and so that sort of sparked my curiosity about it. I was like, oh wow, you can get a lot of attention. You know, some of the ladies were like into it. And then when I was in college, I did the same thing. I started. We had the student union. I was going to school in Germany at the University of Maryland. Had a small school in Munich, Germany, and in the student union bar, they would close it at like 1:45, and they'd turn the lights on, turn the music off, and there was a piano in the corner. And by then I'd be drunk, and so I just started getting on the piano and making up songs. And one night, some chick was like, "Hey, do you want to play in the talent show?" And I'm like, "Sure, no problem.
Let's do this."
And then I kind of forgot about it. And then a couple weeks later, I ran into that chick, and she's like, "Hey, we've got you scheduled as the headliner for the talent show tomorrow night."
Tomorrow? Oh my God.
And I was like, "Okay, well, cool." And so then I kind of freaked out and went and wrote like 5 songs for the talent show.
Jesus.
And went and did it and killed it. And it was great. And that was sort of like, well, this might be something I might want to do, just because, I mean, I literally went from nobody knowing who I was to like
everybody knowing who you were.
Everybody in that small school kind of knowing what I
Yeah.
did. And so after that, it was definitely part of my like, maybe I'll do this as a hobby, or maybe I'll do it, for fun or whatever. And then eventually I was going to school in El Paso and just partying a lot.
Yeah.
And I met some guys who were musicians, and I started playing keyboards in their band. And they were like, "Hey, we're thinking about moving to Austin." And I was like, "Well, I got to get my degree, finish school." But I really wasn't going to school. I was really like fucking
around.
Well, I was going to Juarez 4 nights a week and partying and barely going to school. And so I went home over Christmas break, and I was like, "Fuck it, man. I'm just going to like go with these guys to Austin, try the music thing, see how it works. And if it doesn't work, I'll just go back and get my degree."
At that point, were you in a band, or had you been
Yeah,
in
I
a
was
band?
playing with these guys.
So that was an official band. I didn't know if it was just jamming.
I mean,
or
it was just like a
jamming around
shitty band that they were. It was these 2 brothers, the Nurala brothers, Salim Nurala and his brother Ferris. Salim still plays. He's in Dallas, and
okay, right on.
He produces records, and he's done a lot musically. But at the time, yeah, I think we were called the Crying Dimes or some bullshit like that. So when I got back from Christmas break, I told the guys, let's go to Austin. And they're like, "Oh, we enrolled for another semester." And I was like, "Well, I made my decision." So I just moved to Austin. I had like $300.
Oh shit.
I knew one girl, this chick Cha-Cha. And so she was like, "You can stay at my house for a couple days." But like after
just a couple days.
Yeah, well, she knew me. She was like, "I'm gonna set a time limit." So I found a place. It was really cheap to live in Austin back then. This was like 89. I mean, it was real cheap.
Yeah.
So I found a place after a couple days, moved in. I think I was able to move into an apartment, like an efficiency, for like $200.
Damn.
Yeah. And that included my
$200.
Yeah, it was like some special, maybe it was $250, whatever it was. I still had a few dollars left over for my $300.
Yeah.
And I got a job at Mr. Gaddy's Pizza.
Hell yeah. Shout out to Mr. Gaddy's.
Oh man, I ate a lot of Mr. Gaddy's pizzas for 6 months. And yeah, and so I just moved here and started playing music, and it took about 2 years to kind of get into a band that started making some money, which was that Joe Rocket band. And then I've been doing it ever since. It's 91.
Is that when you started to really make some money? Is that when you really, really thought like, okay, this is it for me? Like, Well, again, like Austin was such a cheap place to live back then. You didn't have to make a lot of money to make rent. Yeah.
So the last time I had a job was 91. So I worked in some t-shirt places in Austin as like an artist, which is fun, a pretty good job. But then I started playing at this place called the Black Cat down on 6th Street, and we got a residency back in I guess it was 91, started doing that, and just after a few months was making enough money to where I could pay my rent. I think my rent at that point was $100 a month.
Fuck me,
so
man.
And
Jesus
I think that's why
Christ.
Austin was such a big such a big music town at the time, was like, you really,
It's cheap to live there.
yeah, you just didn't have to make a lot of money to live here, and then you could spend the rest of your time making music.
Yeah.
And that's changed a lot, and I think because of that,
it's expensive to live here now.
yeah, it's super expensive. And so now I think that's the reason why, like, most of the music's like in San Marcos or in Buda or Wimberley, or it's outside of the city,
Yeah,
because it's cheap to live in those places, and there's big music scenes there, and they just come to Austin now.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, you can't
It's
like
changed.
you can't like try to make it as an artist and have, you know, all these expensive bills or whatever you got going on. You know, it's impossible. Like,
well, you can't be good.
yeah, well, that's
I mean, you can be shitty. You mean like a lawyer writing songs? You know, like work all day in a law firm, make a fuckload of money, and
isn't
then write
that though
some shitty
the
ass
death
song.
trap though? Like, if you're an artist, you get the job to say, "Oh, I'm gonna just get this job just long enough to help me with my art," and then all of a sudden it flips. All of a sudden the job becomes more your time, and
That's what people do.
that's what happened to me. That's exactly what happened to me. Like,
Sorry,
yeah, it's honestly, man, it's fine with me. Like, I love music and everything, but it's not for me. Like, at the end of the day, touring and playing and you know.
Well, it's a hard road, especially in the beginning, and it's not gotten any easier. I mean, even though there's no real true gatekeepers now, anybody can do anything and make it available. It's still hard to get it up to get it.
Will they bother if I smoke a cigarette?
No, I don't care. You know, to get it to where you can actually make a living, it's really difficult.
Oh God, I've never made a living on music. You know, the last like real band I've had, I mean, I've kind of been in a band for the last 10 years, but we don't really play gigs. We just record, and, you know, I do it with Jarvis, and we just kind of record, and really just to hang out and play music. I love music, man, so much that I just like being with my friends and playing it. Like, I get the most joy out of that, man. I don't care about getting it out to people. I don't care if anybody hears it. I don't give two fucks, man. It's I'm selfish. I'm a selfish singer-songwriter for sure.
Well, I love making music.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
And I love playing it. I think if I was just making it, I don't think I'd make as much. If I was just playing it, I wouldn't like either as much if I wasn't doing both. The deal is, like, I like playing live. That's half of the equation, is playing the music to an audience. That's
a big part of your pool, is your live shows, man. People love you for your live shows.
Well,
like, that's legit.
I love that energy. I love the interaction between me and the crowd, and how that works. And
it's addictive.
And I love playing new songs in that, you know, if I just had to, like, it's such a, like, if I had to, and it's weird. I told myself a long time ago I was never going to be in a cover band, even a Bob Schneider cover band.
Yeah, I heard you say that before. I love that. I don't play cover songs either. I don't know any. Ask me to play a song. I can't fucking play anything, man. I can play my songs.
Right.
That's it. That's what you're going to hear from me.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I'm impressed by people who know a lot of cover.
That's most people pull out a guitar. You know, they're going to play the Everlast or whatever. You know,
well,
I don't know. You know, whatever.
Yeah, Ollie, who plays with me, there's not a song you can name that he can't play, and I think that's fascinating that he has all that information inside his brain. But I've never.
No, Bob, if you were in a cover band, that's a waste of talent, bro. Like, come on.
Well, it's not even. It's just a waste of time. Like,
for you.
Well, I just, like, we only have a short time on Earth. You only have this limited amount of time, and I just don't know why. For me, it's like, I just can't imagine wasting my time learning
other people's stuff.
Well, again, I just have only a short period of time. So
I'm with you.
And now, granted, like, you know, for years, I mean, I, you know, to do what I've done. I mean, I had, like, for years, you know, there were times where I was like, you know, I had like a bag of flour, you know, in the fridge or in the cupboard, and I'd like drink flower water, you know, well, if you don't, I just didn't have any
heard of that.
Well, it's horrible. By the way, don't do it. It's not good.
That doesn't sound good at all.
I don't think you can poop it out. It comes out like it comes out like it's like a sculpture of your fucking large intestine when it finally pops out. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, I've eaten mustard for days, you know, where that's all I had was some mustard in my fridge.
I've been there.
You know, years where I was just eating nothing but ramen, you know, like I'd put like 17 cents together and go buy a bag of ramen at H-E-B.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, you know, if I had to start from scratch right now, I don't know if I could do it. You know, when you're a kid or when you're young, you can do that kind of stuff. But again,
well, because you think the world is your oyster and it's all open and everything's ahead of you, and
yeah, and
it is, I mean, essentially
it is. And but yeah, I don't know. I can't. Yeah, it's weird. I look at people doing things they don't love, and it freaks me out. Like, why would you do something you don't love?
Bro, I'm with you, man.
Like,
yeah, I'm with you.
I mean, especially in our society where you could just like dumpster dive for food and stuff if you really had to. But
it's that sacrifice that's what keeps people from doing it, I think.
I guess, I don't know.
I talk to, it's like, well, I got responsibilities, I got this, or parent, you know, somebody behind just said, like, this is the road that you're supposed to take.
Yeah, and maybe kids, you know, I could see, like, if you had kids and you'd be like, well, I got to figure out a way to keep a roof over these kids' heads and feed them and stuff, which, you know, I had my first kid when I was 40, so you know, I waited for a while. So I could see that maybe, but really that's I feel like that's the only excuse.
I mean, honestly, even that to me is not good enough, because you can, you know, if you work hard enough, you can make a life out of what you love, no matter what it is.
I think so. I think you have to find something that you love and then just pursue that. But you know, everybody's got to make their own choices.
Man, of course. I mean, life gets in, something can happen, you know, whatever it is. I've been in the restaurant industry for a long time. At first, it wasn't something I loved, but then I got into it and I really loved it. I loved wine and food, and, you know, moved to Europe. You know, I was like, oh, this is great. I loved it. Became a chef, started cooking, opened a food truck here in Austin. Loved it. It was, you know, you got to have passion for food, right? Yeah. So, yeah, you know, if you love something, you can make it work, you know. Although I'm getting out of food now. I'm done with it.
Well, I mean, I'm
tired of it.
I think making food's an art form.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
And there are people that are true artists doing it. And again, it's like, what do you want to be in a cover band, or you want to do your own stuff? And I mean, food's that way. Like, you can be a cook at IHOP, or you could be a sous chef at a really nice restaurant, or you could fucking bite the bullet and get a food truck, and, you know,
you could, like you said, control. Like, I like the control of it. You know, this is what I want to do. Because if you work in the restaurant industry, you know, people are slaves in that industry, man. You have to work, you know, the worst. It's really musician hours and shit, right? It's late night.
Well, everybody that's a huge star chef for years, you know, was a grunt working for some other star chef.
Oh yeah. It's the worst, man.
Yeah, you got to go through that.
You have
but that's part of, you know, that's part of life, is you go through the tough times. It makes you who you are. It makes you better at what you do, and it gives you some depth to your personality and who you are, and gives you something to, you know, a base to create from. So
yeah, that's true. So you've been doing art for a long time. You know, you said since you were a kid, really started drawing and stuff, but now you're really, you know, got art shows, you got things going on. And I wanted to come to the other art show, but I thought, man, I don't want him to think I'm stalking him, you know, for the podcast, because I was going to come to your show on last Thursday, your art show.
Yeah.
So now I want to come and see.
Yeah. Well, I kind of got sucked into that. I've always done, like I said, I did it my whole life. It was what I was going to do for a living until I got sucked into the music thing. And then I spent most of my energy writing songs and playing music. And then months would go by, you know, sometimes 6 months would go by and I wouldn't make any art, but every once in a while, like it would just kind of sort of build up, and then I would have to make something, and then I'd like paint for like a year, and then I'd stop painting, and then I would not do anything for a while, and then start making prints or whatever. But there's a weird need to make art that it's like a bathtub that fills up with ideas, and then I have to like empty it or something.
Oh,
but now, but lately I've been doing a lot of art, like just mainly because I started doing collage, which I really love, which I didn't even think, like even now I'm like,
I love the collage shit you've been doing. It's
thanks.
like art on top of art.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. Like you know, one that I saw was like, you know, a living room of some sort, right? And then it broke the fourth dimension, you know, broke the fourth wall, like it was on top of that. Like it was interesting. I never seen something like that, to be honest.
Well,
not that I don't know much about art or shit, dude. Like I don't know shit about art, you know.
Well, the more I learn about art, the more I just basically, I mean, I was, you know, fine arts major, and the thing I learned in school about art, which was kind of mind blowing, was like anything can be art. You just call it art and it's art.
See, I've had an argument with a friend who told me that that's not the case. And my argument was always that art is art. It can be anything. Shit on the road with a toothpick in it, that's art. If somebody wanted it to be, I guess.
Or no toothpick.
Or just a shit. Just a shit. Yeah.
With no toothpick.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah.
Or just a toothpick. Or the road.
Or the road.
Or no shit and no road and no toothpick. Just the idea, just you saying there's a shit on a road with a toothpick, just saying it, that's art.
That's art.
So anything you just deem to be art can be art. And
I'm glad you say that. I agree completely with that.
Which is a weird thing
to
wrap your mind around, because like I always thought, for me, art was always like, well, I've got to prove that I can draw. Like I got to prove that I have a talent at this. Like I have to render something, paint something, and then show it to you, and you go, oh yeah, I can't I can't do that. So you have talent because I can't do it.
That's interesting.
I finally had to like kind of let that go, which it took a while, and so now that I don't have that, then it's like, well, if anything can be art, what do I want to do? What do I want to end up with? And so that's kind of what I'm doing now, which is this collage stuff, which I think people look at and they go, well, I could do that. You're just cutting some shit out and pasting it on some other shit.
Yeah. I did this back in middle school, right?
Yeah, that's not art. And it's true. I mean, there's a lot of art that you see in like, you know, the MoMA or the LACMA or whatever. And you're like, fuck, that's just a goddamn car door that somebody took off and
I've seen a shovel on a wall. They just hung a shovel.
I just bought a piece from Dale Allen, and it's 5 shovels that are against my wall, and in neon on the shovel face it says faith, and it's really my favorite piece.
That's kind of cool though.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece, and it means a lot to me. But again, somebody might look at that and go, well, I'll just have that made instead of spending a lot of money.
Well, that's true too.
Like that. But here's the thing about all of it.
Where does the appreciation come though from art? Like the value of it?
Well,
is it in the beholder?
No, the value is really just, it's supply and demand. It's like anything. It's like, you know, what makes, you know, how can Drake can charge $1 million for a performance, and I can charge not $1 million. It's supply and demand. Like he's a very popular person. So art's the same way. It's the same in anything, you know, like McDonald's obviously is making a lot of money selling burgers. Is that as good as the food that you were serving in your food truck?
Fuck no.
Exactly.
Not even close.
So it's not necessarily a matter of like how good something is as to how valuable it is. It's just supply and demand, and art's that way. Music's that way. Everything in life is that way, really.
Yeah. Okay. Well, shit, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Damn. Well, you got me thinking about that.
Are you going to start making burgers?
I'm going to start. No, I tried to make burgers one time.
Dude, here's what I've discovered. If you make drugs in this country, you will make a fuckload of money. And it doesn't matter what kind of drugs you're making. Like if you're making...
That's interesting. Food is a drug.
Well, food is definitely a drug. Like Snickers ice cream bar is a drug. There's no nutritional value in that. McDonald's, that's drug food for sure.
Oh yeah.
You know, steamed broccoli and, you know, chicken breast is not drug food. That's nutritional food.
Yeah.
But nobody's, you know,
that's boring.
There's nobody that has a giant, you know, conglomeration where they're serving healthy food. It's all drug food. And you know, if you sell alcohol, you're going to make a fuckload of money. You're going to be a billionaire. And now if you're selling pot, you're going to make you're going to be a billionaire. I was just on Dan Bilzerian. Is it Dan Bilzerian? Do you know that guy? He's a big Instagram guy. And I guess he's starting he started a cannabis company, and it's just him hanging out with like strippers and like swimsuit models and like firing guns and like smoking pot and hanging out with rappers and stuff. That
sounds awesome. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Everything about that sounds amazing too.
But I was like, oh yeah, all you got to do is just sell drugs and you can make a lot of money.
That's what people want, right? That's what people want in this country.
But again, it's like, what do you want to do with your life? Do you want to I don't think money makes you happy.
Not at all.
I mean, fucking all those strippers, probably pretty fun. Yeah. And smoking that really high grade pot that he's fucking.
Oh man,
like he's stoned and fucking strippers all day long. So he's probably not. He's probably not unhappy. I don't know.
He would stop it, right? He would probably stop doing it if he wasn't happy with that.
I don't know. He's a weirdo. I've seen
Could that get boring though?
I don't know.
If you have filet mignon every day, it's gonna lose its.
Well, I'm an alcoholic drug addict, so I loved drinking. The drinking part was great. The problem I had was when every once in a while I would be not drunk. Not often, but occasionally I would wake up and I wouldn't be super drunk. I'd be sort of half drunk.
Yeah.
And hurting. And so that sucked. So I think probably you fuck enough of these swimsuit models, you smoke as much pot as you can get your hands on. Occasionally you're going to be not stoned. And maybe you're like, well, I have no connection to this person that I'm fucking.
That's
and you might like be like,
what am I doing?
Maybe there's more. maybe there's more. Maybe there's something beyond this sort of gratification thing that's going on.
It puts you in a different mind state. Drugs do. You know, I do enjoy the cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
I have for a long time. But it does alter. You know, it does alter your state of mind. You know, I've been thinking. Actually, you know, it's weird. I've been thinking recently about going straight edge. You know, punk, the old straight edge. Just no nothing. No, I barely drink to begin with, you know. But man, it would be tough for me to let go of cannabis. But I thought, yeah, maybe I should just go nothing
for a while. I haven't drank or smoked dope in 23 years, so
it's changed a lot.
I know.
The dope.
That's what everybody says. It's super good.
Oh my God, it's amazing, man. Yeah. It's amazing. I love it.
I know it's weird. I've never listened to any. One of my favorite things used to be like to record some music and then get really high and listen to it.
Yes. Yeah.
Like that was my favorite. I've never done it with any of the music that I've recorded as a solo artist.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
That is great. But you know, look, man, you sobriety is something that I find very brave. Honestly, I find that very brave.
I will say this about life and not doing any drugs or drinking. Like, it is like a fucking acid trip that doesn't end. It's like a never ending fucking acid trip. It is fucking
It kind of doesn't make sense, but it does make sense.
Well, like when you're doing drugs and then you get sober, you have that, you know, like, okay, this is reality.
Yeah.
Then there's drug reality.
Yeah.
And they're different. But if there's no difference because you're not doing the drugs and it's just all reality all the time from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed, Yeah, after a while, you're like, fuck, this is no joke. There's no break from it. But there is, you can find.
How's it being around people that drink a lot and are doing stuff? It doesn't.
I don't hang out with people that drink a lot.
That's
I mean, even my band guys, I mean, I don't hang out with any like hard, like all the guys that play with me that drink are, you know, they're fun to be around when they're drinking. They don't get too wasted. And I mean, I don't know, just once people start getting drunk, I just like go to bed.
Yeah,
I just don't hang out with them.
It
gets boring.
Yeah, for sure. Well, of course, drunk's only fun to another drunk.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
You know, working the food truck, for instance, like I was on Rainy Street, right? And working Container Bar. It's 2:30 in the morning. It's motherfucking drunks just everywhere, jumping into the trailer. Come on, get a taco. You're like, get fucking hell, man. Like, I just throw tacos. I've thrown tacos at people, food, tomatoes.
Sounds horrible.
It is horrible, man. You just, but you kind of get used to it, like dealing with drunk people when you're not
like
drunk.
Jail sex. You just get used. You get used to anything. Well, people, that's the human condition. Like whatever your environment is, eventually you get used to it.
You do.
I think that's really,
it's like Stockholm syndrome, right?
It is Stockholm syndrome. Like I think people just have these lives that are just so fucking empty and horrible, but they don't even realize it because it's just like like little baby steps. They got them there.
Cuts away at you little by little, and
then there's like a David Byrne song where they're like, "This, what the fuck happened?"
That's how the Nazis took over.
Yeah,
little by little.
I know.
You know? Not to bring up the Nazis because I try to every episode. By the way,
I'll talk about the Nazis all day long. I mean, I grew up in Germany.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
I mean, I know Germany.
How's it growing up in Germany? Like I lived in Spain for, I'm a resident of Spain. I lived in Spain for many years. My mom's from Mexico, so I grew up like kind of like you in a different country.
What
from
part
America.
Of Spain?
I lived in Granada for many years, but I did the Camino de Santiago. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah,
I did that. That's where La Flecha comes from. So I worked in Galicia for a long time. It's actually where I met my wife there in Galicia. I lived in
Tell your viewers what the fuck you're talking about. That
El Camino de Santiago. Yeah. So it's a pilgrimage in Europe. The one I took was 650 miles, but it goes for thousands of miles, and there's several routes through Europe.
How long did it take you to do the 650?
29 days.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, I did it fast. I did it fast, man. We were doing 40 clicks a day,
and you can do it in stages too. My mother-in-law I think she did a month last year, and she's going back and doing
really
month this Buen
so Camino.
Breaking it up.
Tell her Buen Camino.
It sounds like nothing I would ever want to do.
Honestly, man, it's single-handedly the greatest experience I've ever had.
That's what everybody says who does it. Yeah,
single-handedly, dude. I know Spain better than I know my own country.
Wow.
By having literally from the French border, from Roncesvalles, walking all the way to the I went to Finisterre, so I went to the actual ocean on the Atlantic, the end of the earth, Finisterre. So just taking this trip that I'm not religious, but that the old apostles used to take, and you see all these beautiful cathedrals, and again, I'm not religious, but man, the architecture and the people, that's what it was. The people I met, unbelievable, man.
Yeah,
just crazy adventures, drinking like racehorses every night. I mean, we're just pounding alcohol and just but in a good way. Everyone's just at a big table and drinking.
What if you did that? No drinking. Still good?
Eesh, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of people did, but they were like older, you'd see them like folding their socks and taking care of their stuff. Dude, it was like throw my backpack down, get that fucking wine open and get the noodles going on the fucking stove because we're all fucking starving,
Yeah, that's why I don't like listen to people who like recommend movies who are like big potheads. They're like, "Oh man, you gotta check this movie out; it's so good." And then I'll watch them like, "This movie fucking sucks." I was like, "Were you stoned as fuck when you watched it?" Oh yeah, I was stoned as fuck when I watched this movie. I'm like, I'm never listening to you again about anything. Not saying that pilgrimage wouldn't be cool. It just it would be different.
A lot of people did it, not like us. It was just whatever. At first we weren't drinking. The first few nights, I didn't drink because I was dead. Like
you were falling asleep.
Oh, bro, the second day, I thought I was going to die. I thought, why did I do this? Well, I'm way over my head. I got to the hostel and I passed out for like 14 hours. I was sick.
How are your feet and stuff?
By the end of it, I was limping like a motherfucker. I'd hurt my knee big time. I got lost the last day. Like, it was a nightmare, man. I had some really, horrific stuff happen.
Were you not with a group of people?
I went with one buddy, and then we met a bunch of people. We kind of ended up doing it with them. We stuck with them.
So how'd you get lost?
We split up on the last day. It was my last day of the Camino. So I said, you know what? I want my own personal journey. I want to go solo. I want to
get lost like a month.
It was raining. I lost my wallet, so I couldn't buy food. And I didn't have any water.
Where's your passport and all that shit?
In my bag. But not my money.
Okay.
I kept it in a separate whatever. Yeah. And I had actually another pilgrim had it. Another person on the Camino had it with them. So I remember getting lost, and I did have a burner phone, but the battery had died, so I couldn't even call to get help or anything. And I remember walking through this small town it's pouring down rain, and I had a cup, and no water would go into the cup. And it's pouring rain. I remember just had puddles on the ground. I had to, I was just dying of thirst and couldn't figure out where I needed to go. There was no signs, and I got to this fork in the road, and they have all these arrows to lead you, right? But the arrow had fallen on the ground, and it was just pointing straight. I was like, fuck.
So
left to right.
You follow the arrow that was pointing straight?
No, I should have. I should have gone down the middle. I just put eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and it ended up being the wrong choice.
Yeah.
And I had to back 10 kilometers and then take that road. And then when I showed up at like 11 o'clock at night, everyone was super worried about me, like, what the fuck happened to you? Of course, I tell them the story, whatever. It ended up being fine. It ended up being something that I looked forward to. But I remember going through this town and knocking on doors, like, help me. Nobody would answer the fucking door. I just thought, what the fuck is going on here? This is like a joke somebody's playing on me. Like, it was crazy. But I recommend it.
Yeah, I will never do that.
You were one.
That'll never happen.
I was supposed to go back in 2020 with the same group. I did it in 2010.
I think it's like a mile and a half to the HEB from where I live. I wouldn't walk a mile and a half. Like, that would be the greatest pilgrimage of my life. It would be getting to the HEB.
Yeah, that's a pilgrimage right there.
It would be, especially in this fucking heat.
Oh, God. Shit. Yeah.
I'd be like, fuck that.
Fuck this shit. It was snow the first couple days, and I wasn't prepared for that.
Right.
So that sucked. Whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, living in Europe. So you lived in Germany for a long time.
So yeah, I grew up in Germany. We moved there when I was 3. I've always told people it was 2, but I just found out from my dad that I was actually 3 when we moved there. So I was there from 3 to 7, and then we moved back to the States for a few years, and then we moved back to Germany when I was in 8th grade. So I was, I guess, 13, and then I was there from 13 to 20, which, by the way, if you're going to live in Germany or Europe, 13 to 20, that's when you want to be there. There's no drinking age. The drinking age in Germany is 13. So I could start going to bars when I was
13. Is it still that?
Yeah.
Holy fuck. 13?
Well, I just found out that if you're if you were with your parents, you can drink in Texas. Did you know that?
Yeah, I didn't know that. Well, at working at a restaurant, like, I have to serve, but it has to be the guardian.
Right.
A parent or guardian.
It has to be the parent. So, or guardian, whatever the fuck that means. That's just sounds
they don't
like
have their parents,
sounds like code for like a pedophile.
I'm his guardian. Okay.
Get this kid fucked up for me.
Let's get him another martini, please.
So it was a real safe place to be and a great place to party, and I had a great time. It was fun. Awesome. fun.
Partying in Europe is way different than partying in America.
Well, there's no driving, first of all.
Exactly.
It's like the public transportation's great, so you're just never drunk behind a wheel. And you can get anywhere you want to go. It's not like the public transportation over here, which is just like for homeless people and poor, destitute, weirdos and stuff. It's like for everybody, and you can go anywhere in Europe.
Yep.
I never had a car, bus or train, and everything's on time, everything's clean, everything's safe. So I don't know how it is now, but that's the way it was when I was there.
Yeah.
In the 70s. So.
I really only know Spain, to be be honest with you. That's really all I know in Europe.
Well, it's funny because we just went to Spain for my sister-in-law's wedding. We went to Madrid, and I was just like, I guess it'll just be like Juarez. You know, that's what I was thinking. I got there and I was like, oh no, this is basically like Germany where they speak Spanish instead of German. Yeah, like it was like super Europe.
Absolutely.
I loved Madrid.
Oh, it's awesome. Madrid's the best. Yeah, amazing. Madrid's great, man.
Yeah.
I lived there I was there for like 2 months. You know, just bogging around and whatever I could.
Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
Lots of museums.
Best city in Spain though is for me Granada. It is by far the best. It's Andalusia. It's the south. You know, you got the mountains. You got the beach. The sort of Arabic influence of the food is fucking ridiculous, and you get free tapas there. Like they're free. That's the real tapa. It's you know, you order Coke or whatever, and they fucking throw you a plate of food. Fucking awesome. It's just doesn't get better than that.
Where's Lloret de Mar? Is that in that area?
I don't know what that is.
Lloret de Mar is like a beach.
I've never heard of that.
It's near. I guess probably the closest place would be maybe Barcelona.
Okay, Barcelona's beautiful.
Yeah,
I would live there.
But what's the closest beach to Barcelona?
To Barcelona? I don't know. I don't fucking know. The Barcelona beach, the one that's right there. I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't think it's that close. But anyway, I did spring break on the Spanish coast, and that was fun.
Oh fuck yeah,
that was no joke.
I mean, like Ibiza stuff, or
yeah, it was just a bunch of Americans and Australians and English. You know, it was all like, it was non-Spanish. It was like the touristy.
Australians are all over Europe, man. They're fucking everywhere, dude. They're the most traveling people I think in the world. They're fucking everywhere, dude. And Germans, like I met, Germans love the Camino, dude. They fucking love the Camino de Santiago. In fact, the most famous book is written by German. Yeah,
Germans
they love that shit. I met so many Germans on the Camino, dude, and their English was better than mine. It pissed me off.
Yeah, I love Germans, but I get what happened. I get, like, Germans. Germans take everything way too far. That's what happened with the fucking Nazis. Like the Nazi stuff could have been cool, and they just took it way too fucking far.
It could have been cool.
It could have been. It could have been real good. But then they're like, "Oh, we got to take over Europe, and we got to kill everybody that's not fucking white." And like, if they would have just stopped with the not killing non-white people or if they would have just not killed all the Jews and all the Hungarians and the homosexuals and stuff, and not try to take over Europe, they'd be like what they are now.
Yeah,
doing great. But they fucking, like, they have to learn their lesson the hard way. Like, when they embrace something, they take it way too far. Like, I don't know if you watch German porn, it's unwatchable. Like, German porn is like, I'm gonna shit in your mouth. Oh, fuck. Like, no, don't do that. That's like, I'm gonna put 5 dicks in your ass. No. Like, they take it way, you know what I mean? They go too far.
Too far. It's not fun anymore.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
I mean, hip hop, they're like, oh, we're gonna embrace 80s hip hop. Done. The entire country covered from the tip to the bottom. When I lived there, there was not a speck of graffiti in Germany. Then they embraced 80s hip hop, and the entire country's covered in fucking graffiti. Got tagged
just the whole country.
Overnight. They're like, oh, we like hip hop, and then everything's tagged.
Maybe that wall coming down was like, you were there when the wall.
No, I was there before the wall.
That's what I mean. Like before the wall. Before the wall.
I mean, I was there not before the wall.
Yeah. Holy shit.
I was there in the 30s.
How old are you, Bob?
I'm a Nazi. I'm actually I'm a fugitive.
Founding member.
The
co-founder.
Guggenheim or whatever that fucking Nazi hunting organization still looking for me. I was there when the wall was up. And like, we went to Checkpoint Charlie and like went to East Berlin, and
that's
like,
crazy.
It was crazy.
That is crazy.
It was weird being there. It was like like you imagine, everything was gray. There was no like neon signs. There was no advertising or anything. You'd go to the store, everyone shit in there, like some bread wrapped in a fucking brown bag, and
oh my god,
just Russian flags and nesting dolls and shit like that. That's all they sold.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but if you went over there with a couple pair of jeans, you could like literally come back with like
a bunch of money. They just loved
not
it.
money. No, there was no money, but like
A trade.
Russian uniforms and like, you know, cool memorabilia.
So Russia
fucking ran the show.
I don't know history, dude. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
They ran everything over there. But yeah, when the wall came down, it's weird though, because now like all of that East, you know, East and West Germany kind of mix, but East Germany is basically like straight up fucking hardcore KKK redneck mentality.
Oh shit.
That was left over from that whole period of time. So you have all these.
I mean, just because you take the wall down doesn't mean things change overnight.
Well,
right?
you just have all these like nationalist Germans from East Germany that are like, yeah, you know, kind of like from the war, like they never changed really. Whereas West Germany, you know, a wonderful country, embraced all these, you know, I think they have the most immigrants of any country in Europe. Like they embraced that. And then when that wall came down, it was like this, you know, it was sketchy. Berlin really is one of the coolest cities in the world. I don't know if you've been.
I haven't. I've never been to Germany. I would love to go.
It's worth visiting just that city alone. It just feels.
That's probably where I would go.
Runner. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's amazing.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's incredible. But I mean, the last time I was there, it's been a while. It's been a few. It was like 13 years ago was the last time I was there, and it was like I had a friend who lived there, and my best friend from growing up, and he lived in the East Berlin part of town, and it was cheap over there, but it was, you know, if you ran into the wrong people, you could get in some trouble. It'd be like running into rednecks if you were gay or something. Like it was sketchy.
Yeah, that's not good to, if you're gay, you're fucked running into a redneck.
Well, I mean,
unless they're gay now too. There's a lot of gay rednecks now.
Are there?
Yeah, there are. That's good. It's being more acceptable.
Is it?
Yeah. I don't know. I hang out in a lot, not hang out, but I promote my podcast.
Hang out in a lot of gay redneck bars. Here's the thing. If you're hanging out at a gay redneck bar, you might be thinking like, oh yeah, it's cool now to be gay and redneck. But trust me, that's a specialized little scene you're in.
It might be. You know what? Actually, I take all that back. The more I think about it, I do promote my podcast in a lot of conservative groups because I like that. I like, I'm a liberal, and they, you know, I like token the fire a little bit, but I've noticed at least more than before that's not something they attack as much anymore, you know, being gay.
The conservatives?
Yeah.
Well, they might not attack it openly, but I don't think that they're
as accepting of it. Yeah, probably not.
I don't know, man. We are living in weird times now. I'm not a fan of all the this deep divide that's going on. I'm not a fan of it. I think it's the powers that be really want the country to be divided, and I mean, you know, I really do think that they're like, I mean, I'm a conspiracy theory guy. I'm just because it's interesting. I mean, I don't study it or look for it, but I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm
moon landing sort of stuff, like that kind of conspiracy.
Yeah, you never know. I mean,
you know, I'm an Armstrong, so I believe we landed on the moon.
I think so too. I mean, I believe the Mythbusters went after it.
I saw that episode,
and you know, yeah,
I saw that episode.
I believe those guys. Why not?
I think that's just too much to like fucking fake, for fuck's sake. Like, in my opinion, like,
I grew up with Mad Magazine and Capricorn, that movie Capricorn 1 where they faked the moon landing. That was a big movie with the O.J. Simpson, I think, was in that movie. It's about faking the moon landing.
I haven't seen that. Like that, you've heard the Kubrick theory, right? That he directed it. You heard that?
Oh,
before?
that Kubrick directed?
Yeah, you never heard that? Yeah, the Stanley Kubrick, you know, made the films and did everything. He set it up, blah blah blah. Supposedly took it, you know. He told somebody on his deathbed, supposedly.
It would have been better had he done it.
Right? Well, maybe not. Maybe that's the whole point. You know, you gotta make it look real. You know, I don't know what other kind of conspiracies, like you think the Earth is flat? No, I'm just joking. You really? I mean, come on.
Well, that's the flat earthers is another thing. It's just another like, wow, we're living in such a weird time because there aren't any gatekeepers when it comes to disseminating information now.
Yeah.
Like you can just it used to be like you had to be smart enough to like get a job and do stuff and then become a writer. You know, had to write, be able to write or whatever. If you were going to like give information to people, you had to go jump through some hoops. Yeah, and now anybody can tweet or write any fucking thing they want. And so you get enough dumb people saying stupid shit, and then that becomes like a thing. You know, you got, well, there's, you know, no, this is real. What do you mean it's real? It's like, well, there's 20
on YouTube
20,000 people that agree with me. I'm like, yeah, there's 20,000 people who are wrong, who are dumb as fuck, and it's a problem, you know. And the fact that everybody's getting their information from these really curated and selective sources is not a good thing for the country at all. And I mean, I'm guilty of it because I get all my, you know, I'm not looking to get my news from Fox or you know, conservative sort of news sources. I get it from liberal sources, and so I have a very slanted view of things. Yeah, and when I look at those conservative sort of news sources, I go, oh, I didn't see that angle. I didn't see that perspective. You know, I still obviously I still think that I'm right, but again, that's the problem. The problem is everybody thinks they're right,
of course, and
everybody's only getting one side of the story.
You wouldn't fight your argument if you didn't think you were right, you know.
Well, again, I don't think I don't think things are as bad as people think that they are, and I don't think they're as good as they think they are. I'll tell you what happened recently was my ex-wife moved into this neighborhood, has a bunch of conservatives or Republicans in the neighborhood, people just like me. They're, you know, families, they got kids, they're whatever, Christians or semi, you know, religious Christians or whatever. Maybe they go to church, maybe they don't, but they're Republicans, which is, you know, like we're in Texas. There's a lot of Republicans, of course, and I agree with a lot of the things that the Republicans, you know, stand for and stuff. And so I got to know these folks and was chatting with them, and we were talking about Trump and talking about Obama. And like when Obama got elected, I was like super excited about it. I was like, oh, this is really cool. Look at how far we've come. Yeah. We've got a black president. This is great. He seems really cool. I like you know, he's a great speaker. He's very charismatic. He seems so much smarter than fucking Bush, who you know, just seemed like a fucking dumbass. Totally. And a nice guy. Yeah. But not the guy I want running the country. You know, just seemed like a good old boy who'd be fun to hang out with and you know, go fishing with. But I don't want that fucker running our. And so I felt great about it. But these people that I was talking to in the neighborhood, that entire presidency for 8 years, they were scared the whole time. They were really nervous that the country was going down the tubes. And I was like, really? You had that experience? And they were like, yeah. We were like, it was like, man, we're really worried the whole time. That's and I was strange. Like, well, and it's the way I felt for the last 2 years since Trump became president. I've had the same concern. Like I've been like really worried and I'm like, and I go, well, it's probably the same thing, you know, like those guys now are the way I was when Obama was president, which was like, they don't watch the news. They don't give a shit about it. They're like, he's taking care of it. Yeah, there's some dumb shit going on, but you know, whatever, it's politics. Yeah. They're all losers, those politicians, and they're not worried about it anymore. The same way I wasn't worried about it when Obama was president. Yeah. But now that I'm scared and nervous, now I'm like, oh, I got to get involved and I got to, you know, give money to organizations and do all this stuff that they were doing when Obama was president. So it was interesting to see that perspective, which I wasn't aware of. You weren't complacent anymore, right? Like you weren't just, you know, with Obama, you felt comfortable and boom, and now. But I never watched the news. I never followed politics at all. Me neither. And I've never voted. You know that, Bob? Ever.
This will be my first vote, November 6th.
Me too. Well, I've voted in presidential elections because, like I said, I wasn't a big fan of old Bush, so I wanted to vote. But this will be the first midterm election. I've never fucking voted in midterms.
I didn't even know what a midterm was. No. I was like, what the fuck is that? I'll do it.
And I think that the reason that I'm positive that the reason that Trump got elected was there was a lot of people just like you and me feel right now. We're like, I don't want Obama part 2, which I guess was what they thought Hillary Clinton was in office, because I can't take being this scared any longer. Yeah. And I think that's the way probably you and I are right now. It's just like, I don't want to keep being nervous like this.
Absolutely. It made me, after Trump got elected and I didn't vote, I said, I'll never do that again.
I was the same way. Well, because it's a wasted vote in Travis County, because if you're voting in Texas for the president, it's a wasted vote because Travis County is always going to vote Democrat. And there's a few counties in Texas that will vote Democrat, but the majority will vote Republican. And so all I'm doing is I'm putting up a red flag saying, please call me for jury duty. And I don't want to do jury duty. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm never going to. But then when that happened, I was like, yeah, I'm going to vote every time. Me and too. Even if I lose, that's one vote in the category for what
you feel like you can do your part, a little bit more. That's how I felt, like finally use something that's been at my disposal my whole life.
Well, here's the other thing too. And I mean, I really feel this way. Like for me, it's not Democrat or Republican. It really isn't. Yeah. Because for me, they're very similar. Yeah. They're very similar, but there are people like, I just feel like Trump's just a real piece of shit. Like, he's just not a good human being. Exactly. He's not, he's not nice. Argument. Exactly. And I'm like, be nice. I mean, George Bush, for as much of a dumbass as he was, at least he was nice. Exactly. At least he pretended to be nice. Yes. And he seemed genuinely nice. He was cordial because he's a good old Texas boy. Like, you know what I mean? We know good old Texas boys. Yeah, yeah. It's like, that's what he was. So I'll take that. And then, like, I don't know.
I take George Bush 1,000 times over.
I think anybody would take it.
It's like, I feel bad for ever even like, complaining before. It's like, fuck, we didn't know what the fuck we we're complaining about. Like, this is really something to complain about now.
Well, and again, it's not political. It's just him as a human being. Exactly. He just seems like a real piece of shit.
But see, that's the argument. Like, people don't care about that. They say, well, who cares? We need the country run. So I don't care if he's a fucking asshole or grabs women by the pussy. I don't care. They don't give a fuck.
Well, I know. And what they care about their jobs. They care about the economy. They care about gun rights. They care about abortion, which is fine. I totally understand that. And I get it. If that's what your politics are, that's fine. But like, just pick somebody that's not so horrible.
What do you think about Beto?
I mean, I like what he has to say. It's not even that I like Beto so much. I mean, I like him. He seems like a genuinely.
He seems like an old musician, right?
He seems like the type of person who really does want to make some kind of a difference.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is different than just somebody who wants to be in politics because they're a loser and they want the power and they want the pussy and because I think it's like being a cop. Like most cops, and don't get me wrong, I like the police. I'm not fuck the police. I'm like, it's a tough fucking job.
Oh my God.
And I'm glad somebody wants to do it because it's a tough job and nobody wants to see the police. They show up and they're like, we don't want to see you. Nobody wants to see them.
Never.
So it's a hard, thankless job that somebody's got to do. And I'm glad they do it. But I think a lot of guys who go into the police wars do it because they like the power. They like to carry a gun. They like to be in that. But there's some people that like maybe their dad was a cop. Maybe somebody's, they get into it because they have these ideal, like they want to change the world and make it better. They want to protect people.
A lot of people join the military the same way, right. But I'm going to go do this.
Right. But I think it's the minority of cops are that way. The minority of people that join the military are like that. And the minority of people that get into politics are that.
Yeah.
Beto seems like the kind of person who really does want to try to make some kind of a difference. He wants to like make politics less fucked up. It just seems like right now it's a very rigged thing. It's all about money. And It's all about special interests. And it seems like he wants to change that. Ted Cruz absolutely doesn't want to change that. He seems like the type of person who does not give a like has zero moral compass and just will do whatever, will say whatever he needs to say to get people to vote for him. And it's just,
how could Trump attack him so much and his family, and then he turns around and kisses his ass, dude? Like, what? Have some fucking pride for yourself and your family, dude.
Well, because they're all liars. They're liars and horrible. They're horrible liars is what they are. But so that's what I look at. I'm like, I just don't like liars. And Trump's a liar. He's a bald-faced liar, which is fun. Which, you know,
he's the worst liar I've ever. Well, I mean, just like crazy.
He's one of those liars. He's like a kid liar, where like they get caught doing something. He's like, I didn't do that. Yeah. Like I just saw you do it.
Yeah. He's like, nope.
Like I didn't do that.
Nope. Didn't do it.
And it was like, well, how old are you? I mean, it's a part of it's cute, but again, it's cute if they're running the goddamn country.
Exactly.
Anyways, I see people like Ted Cruz just being unnecessarily mean towards disenfranchised people and stuff like that. So I don't like that guy.
Yeah.
I don't like him as a person because of his actions, not because of his politics, not because he's a Republican.
Sure.
Not because Beto's a Democrat.
Yeah.
I'm a people person, I guess.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of how I look at things too, to be honest with you. Well, you know, policies are one thing, but you know, the majority of who they are, you know, directs how they do things. So if you know, if that person's a fucking asshole, they're going to do asshole things. So
what's funny right now is that there might be somebody that's listening to this or watching this and they're like just fucking getting on the comments like, fuck you, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you goddamn stupid ass motherfucker. Like they're just fucking digging in.
Oh yeah, that's what comments I get about me.
Who fucking digs in on the comments? Like what
people hate me,
of
Bob.
Shit.
You don't even know the hate mail I get, dude.
But
for my politics.
Like, all right, first of all, here's what I've never done. Left a comment on anything. Maybe on Instagram if it's somebody I know.
Yeah.
And it's usually like, hey, that's cool. But to like just go on somebody's thing that I don't even know and just go, oh, you're a piece of shit. Even if I think they're a piece of shit.
Sure.
Why? What is that? I don't understand it. Like, what the fuck? Do they not? I mean, okay, here's the thing. If they're anonymous, then I'm like, okay, it's an anonymous, cowardly piece of shit human being. That's one thing. Good. Do your little, I'm going to go leave a pile of shit on somebody's doorstep and ring the bell.
That's what it is.
And then have them deal with that shit.
That's what it is.
And then they have to live with their miserable, horrible lives until they die.
Oh yeah.
That's fine. The people that fucking don't do it anonymously, where people know who they are, they've got their face. I'm like, what the fuck?
They don't care, man.
Don't you understand that I see your face, I know who you are, and you're just being a petty piece of shit? It's such a weird thing,
dude. You know, so Johnny Gowdy, right? So he posted a thing today about UB40. He said something on Facebook like, oh, if Kavanaugh got caught at a UB40, anybody going to UB40 concert or something shouldn't be going to the Supreme Court. Making a joke about UB40. He got death threats. That happened this morning. Then he put on the Facebook thing like, people are sending me death threats because I said that. I'm like, holy shit. And then people just put fuck you and just do what the fuck,
I know, man. People are so,
what the fuck?
People are so
they're mad at themselves, dude. They're insecure and they're, you know, they don't have stuff to do with their lives, dude. You know what I mean? They just have, that's it for them. They feel like, zinger, I fucking took care of that guy.
I guess that's what it is. It's like they have no control in their life at all. There's nothing,
dude, they're working at Quiznos. They just fucking got off working a 12-hour shift and they're about to, you know, just live different lives, man.
It's a different thing. And I guess that's their only sort of platform to like feel like they're in control. That's what it is.
Yeah, to feel like they're in control, you know.
Well,
Whatever,
thanks for solving that mystery for me. It makes me more sympathetic, I guess, towards those folks.
I am sometimes to some people. I feel more sorry for them, especially if it's the more hateful it is, the more sorry I feel for that person. Like, fuck, what the fuck is wrong in your life?
Well, here's
here's
the weird thing about me, which I'm so grateful for, which is like I'm so under the radar for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, people knew who I am in Austin a little bit and a little bit around Texas.
People know you a little bit in Austin, Bob. Yeah.
But for the most part, like I'm not in the news. I'm like, nobody gives, like the Chronicle's not going to run a story on me. I'm not going to be on the cover of Texas Monthly or something like that. So for the most part, unless I'm playing a show or you're on my Facebook page, like you're not being bombarded with any information about me. So all the comments I get are like fans. They're fans of me on Instagram or Facebook and stuff. So all the comments are like, I love what you do. I went to your show. I had a great time, blah, blah, blah. And it's all great. And I'm not on other people's things. I mean, this is a rare thing for me to do, like even your podcast.
Yeah.
And there are fans of your podcast who aren't fans of mine who may
say something. Yeah.
Fucking dig in. Like I did
let them.
A few years ago, I did Adam Carolla's podcast, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, just because I was a fan.
I saw a video of you playing a song for him.
Yeah.
That was cool.
So I did his podcast, and it, like I said, it was one of the very few times that I've done something where people that weren't fans of mine were going to see me talking or doing something.
Yeah.
And I went on his website to check it out, and I was like, oh, there's people leaving comments, and the comments are like, fuck you, you're not funny, you're a dick, who put this fucking piece of shit on here? And I was like, oh man, I'm so glad that I'm not like, Drake or Taylor, or Alec Baldwin, or somebody who's famous, who just people are just shit. The people just shit on those people all day long, and they don't know anything about them or care about them or anything.
They gotta let that stuff go, right? You can't worry about that stuff. There's haters, dude.
They do though, man. Joe Rogan, Alec Baldwin, those guys like get on Twitter and fucking just start going to town on these people.
It would be tough for me not to on some. I'm not gonna lie. It would be tough for me to not like.
It's tough. It's tough. Everyone.
It's got to be a nerve somewhere in your body that they could hit. They don't know it, but they hit it. And you're
like I said,
fuck like you dumb shit from Wichita.
Right. Well, like I said, I don't get 99.9% of the feedback I get. It's all just positive.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, somebody will like that. What ends up happening is somebody on Twitter will be like, they'll kind of send a message to somebody else with my thing, and then the person's like, oh, Bob Schneider, yeah, he's fat, or yeah, fuck that guy, the guy's still alive. It'll be something like that, and then I'll be like, oh, like I just get like all heated, but then I get heated up, and then I'm like, what am I gonna do?
Totally. You drive over to his house, like,
I mean,
hey, motherfucker.
I try to convince this guy that I'm
totally
cool or something.
He wants you to respond because then he'll hit you again. That's how they get their that's how they get their hard-ons, dude.
Yes,
seriously.
It's that trolling. It's crazy.
It's the trolling.
Yeah.
It's the trolling. I did a special bit for my podcast where I went into the Joe Rogan Facebook group. So it has over 40,000 members. So it was a project. I went for 3 days only. And I spent 3 days engaging with everybody, and I became a troll against the trolls.
Right.
So, dude, they fucking hated me. I mean, not hated me. I'm talking. They took. There was
you doing it anonymously?
Oh, like no.
Through.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to promote my podcast. Oh, okay. So I fucking went on, and I got a lot of fans from it. But dude, people were taking my picture and putting it as their profile picture. So there were all these threads of just my picture, and everyone's using my picture and using my words and sending me all this hate mail and photos. And
wow,
they put me as Luke Skywalker fighting Darth Vader. Losing my hand, and I was like. Honestly, I loved it. I was like, this is great. But it was all just a bunch of fuck you, you dumb shit. Get the fuck out of here. You know what the fuck you're talking. Just the most vile shit you could imagine. Just trolls being trolls. But it was great. I was only in there 3 days, and I bounced out, and I did my podcast, and I threw it on there, and I just insulted them, and they fucking hated it. Which I'll do randomly. you know, I just got kicked out of a group in Missouri for the same thing, for basically trying to do something for my podcast and trying to get some conservatives on my podcast, to be honest with you. I want to hear the other side of the, you know, what's going on. Why do you guys think this way in middle America? You know, it didn't work out. It didn't work out.
Like, you know,
they hate me.
That's the other thing, like calling a Republican a conservative or a Democrat a liberal. Like it's such a weird label. Like,
you're right.
The Republicans that I've met aren't necessarily conservative. I mean, they are, maybe they have some conservative values, but there's not a lot of difference between conservatives and liberals, Democrats and Republicans. It's really like a fucking football team. Like, I like the Packers, I like the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And that's
it's a tribe.
It's a tribe, and it's the team that you were brought into, and it's the one that you kind of grew up with. And yeah, I get it. People like their guns. They don't want fucking people messing with their guns. Or if you're religious, you don't want people killing babies with, you know, abortion and stuff like that. So I get those kind of hot button issues, but for the most part, everybody kind of wants the same thing. They just want to take care of their family, want to be able to provide. They don't want shit getting out of control, you know? So
they want their hard work to mean something.
Right. And what ends up happening is like, you know, you use words like liberal or conservative, and then it's like, this is what I am, and that's what you are. And for me to be able to survive, you have to die, which is like fucked up. It's like, no,
fucked up.
We can both be okay. Like, my neighbor has a Ted Cruz sign up in her yard. I'm not a fan of Ted Cruz, but I'm like, good. That's who you're supporting. And I understand why you support him, because you're, you know, he says the things that you believe in. Like he said, I don't know if he believes in those himself. He doesn't seem genuine to me. He seems disingenuous, but he's saying them. And so that's why you're supporting him. Good on you. Yeah. That's who you're supporting.
Yeah. Well, you gotta, I mean, of course,
it doesn't make that person right
or wrong.
Well, it's not even about right or wrong. It's just like, we live in a free country.
Yep.
Everybody can have their own opinion. Everybody gets their vote. There doesn't need to be all this hostility. There doesn't need to be all this like divisiveness. And I do believe that other countries like Russia are stoking that flame. And the fact that fucking Trump's you know, like, cool with that is fucked up.
I agree, man.
It's real fucked up.
It is fucked up. There is divides. I mean, there is divides and there's not. I mean, like you said, it's not as bad as the news makes it seem to be, because out in my daily life, I'm not getting into fights with people at fucking HEB, you know, over salsa, like about Trump and shit. It doesn't happen. Like, you know, everything's fine. But, you know, I can't think of one person that hasn't, maybe within their family or friends, had one little argument about Trump with somebody or something, or lost a friend, or I don't talk to that person anymore. And it's kind of like crazy to hear.
Dude, I love talking about politics and religion with people who are religious and who are do differ from me. Now, granted,
yeah, me too.
I'm not talking to like dangerous, stupid people either. I'm talking to smart people who I like.
Yeah.
Likeable, smart people who I can have a discussion about that stuff with.
Totally.
You know, and we can agree to disagree and not see eye to eye on a few things and see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. So yeah, it is weird.
You have to talk to people that think different. Most of my friends are conservative, man. Well, you know, using that word, they just think differently than me. You know, they have different ideals, and my family, you know. It doesn't bother me one bit, man. Like, you know, let's just talk. And I honestly enjoy that more than talking with somebody who thinks just like me. What are we doing? What am I going to talk to them about? Like, yeah, abortion, you know, this. It's like we're both saying the same thing to each other. Like, it doesn't get me. I don't learn anything from that, really. Like, I feel like that's just stoking my own fire. Like, I don't know. I don't get any enjoyment out of that. I want to talk to somebody who thinks differently than me, to figure out why they think differently than me, and maybe I'll learn something.
Well, I usually take the opposing viewpoint, even if I believe,
like the devil's advocate. Yeah.
Well, I just enjoy that kind of a discussion. So if you say something that I believe, I'm going to take the opposite viewpoint, because there is an opposite viewpoint, and I can see it. So why not take that stance? Sure. And then let's see what we can figure out by doing that. So I mean,
now it makes me kind of you can't take the other side, though, right? Isn't there a few things?
I don't think there.
Pedophilia.
Yeah, pedophiles. You have to kill them all.
You can't be the devil's advocate on that one. You know, there's a few things that's like you can't see the other side of. But here's
the problem with pedophilia.
Here's the problem with pedophilia.
Well, again, you know, like, so you got a 16-year-old dude having sex with a 17-year-old girl, and that's statutory rape in certain places. Now, is that guy a pedophile because he's having sex with somebody that's older than him, but they're underage?
Yeah.
It's an underage girl.
Yeah.
You know,
not to me.
That's a you know, that's a nuanced thing. But yeah, obviously you have somebody, and then, you know, here's what we don't have a lot of in this country: common sense. Guess what they have a lot of in Germany? Common sense. Like in Germany, if you get caught raping somebody, what they do, the police, is they arrest you, then they take you to jail, and then they beat the fuck out of you. They don't let you get out on bail.
Yeah.
They don't let you have some fancy trial lawyer who'll get you off.
Yeah.
They fucking beat the fuck out of you because there's no police brutality in Germany.
Oh, really?
No, fuck no. The police do whatever the fuck they want to do.
That's crazy.
Then they keep you in jail.
Gestapo shit.
They keep you in jail. Then they convict you of rape, and then they put you in jail for a long ass time. And guess what? There's not a lot of
rapes.
Fucking rape.
Yeah.
Well, and what they do is, like, if everybody's smoking pot, which they do in Germany, they go, okay, we're going to decriminalize it because we're tired of arresting people for fucking smoking pot.
Totally.
And they do that. They just do common sense shit here because we have a private fucking prison system, and because
the monetization of
I mean, don't get me started.
I don't like that.
I mean, there's not a lot of common sense. Everything's driven by money. It's a capitalist society gone crazy, and there's not a lot of common sense.
Yeah.
And there needs to be more common sense. There needs to be more just like, okay, everything's nuanced. Let's just do the right thing instead of like what is going to make the most money.
That's the problem. People have a different idea of what's right in our country, you know.
I don't agree with that. I think for the most part, we all have the same ideas for the most part of what's right and wrong. Now, granted, when it comes to a few things, there's some big differences. Like, and they're the hot button, you know, abortion. Like some people are like, no, you can't kill a fetus, because that's a baby, and so that's something that people are not going to agree on. And then, you know, gun rights, there's like, well, I can own any gun I want. It doesn't matter what kind of gun it is. And if you tell me I can't, then you're wrong. So, and, you know,
I think people should have guns, personally.
I agree.
I don't
think anybody that's the thing about gun control is, like, nobody's saying you can't have guns.
Exactly, but that's what the other side keeps saying. And growing up in Texas is like, I know people can have guns and be responsible with them. So I don't, you know.
Well, they're just saying they just don't want certain guns made available to everybody.
Which I can agree with some of that. You know, I like, you know, responsible gun control. I mean, we need some rules. Like, I went to a fucking gun range not too long ago. It's called Reds off of 290.
I love Reds.
So yeah, I went in there one time and they made me sign, you know, clipboard and stuff, but they didn't even check to see if I knew how to fire a gun. And I thought, damn, I'm just letting motherfuckers in here firing guns. And what if you don't know how
to fire a gun? I've gone in there many times.
Me
and
too.
Fired all kinds of guns.
Too, dude.
They'll give you any gun you want.
Dude, my gun was flying all over the place. I don't know how I didn't shoot anybody. Seriously, I don't know how I didn't shoot somebody in the ass because my guns were flying. I had shit popping out. A clip fell out. I was like, dude, I don't even know what I'm doing here. You know, I thought this is a little dangerous. That's something I would put in place. Like,
well, they'll show you how to shoot the gun.
You know, I didn't ask. You know, I've seen Lethal Weapon, bro. I was like, I know what the fuck I'm doing here. Like,
it's fun though, isn't it?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
I love shooting guns, man.
Yeah,
I really do love shooting guns.
I like shooting guns, and I like the idea of having guns. I think people should be allowed to have guns.
Of course.
I think certain guns are made to, like, there's those. You look at the guns where there's a lot of deaths, and they're using a certain type of gun. They wouldn't have been able to kill that many people with another type of gun.
The AR-15, right? Is that?
Well, it's just like these guns that just create a lot of damage when they hit somebody. And I'm like, man, I just don't. And I know people love wanting to have those guns because they're fun to have and fun to shoot.
They are fun. I've shot an AR-15.
And
it was
the
fun,
idea,
man.
yeah, and the idea is like, okay, you get a hostile government, and we'll be able to stop the government with their guns and whatever.
I'm sorry, that sounds crazy to me.
They're not good for home defense. Best gun for home defense is shotgun. Just
a shotgun.
Oh man,
pattern, right? It's you
somebody
can't miss.
Comes into your fucking door and you just aim it anywhere near them
exactly
and fuck them up forever.
They're fucked up. Yeah, they're fucked, man.
And you know, like
that Linda Hamilton shit, just one-handed,
beautiful
fucking
gun.
boom.
Yeah. And then and they're good for suicide too. I don't fucking just boom, one shot and you're dead.
Oh man,
you don't have to worry about like the bullet going through your brain and then somehow they save you and you got to have a face transplant.
Cobain agreed with you.
They're great. They're great for suicide. So yeah, I think home defense and suicide.
Is that the poster for the shotguns?
But like, yeah, if you want to shoot up a goddamn movie theater, I'd much rather have, if I'm in a movie theater, I want somebody, with like a fucking pistol or something. My odds are better.
Of course. So. Much better.
But again,
how do you prepare for that? How do we prepare like our citizens for that? Like one thing happens and now, well, let's get rid of all this. And the argument you hear from a lot of people that believe in gun or don't believe in gun control is, well, cars kill lots of people. Why aren't we getting rid of cars?
I don't know. I mean, again,
cars kill more people.
Here's what
guns.
We're doing. We're either preaching to the choir. We're people are agreeing or they're getting really upset.
Yes.
And there's no middle ground there.
It's tough. You're right.
It is a weird thing.
If you didn't grow up around guns or have seen people with guns and being responsible with them, I can understand your viewpoint of saying we shouldn't have them or this or that. Like, or if you've been stuck up, you live in a city, you live in New York, and you've been robbed multiple times by guns, you might be more afraid of them than, you know what I mean, than somebody who's, grew up in the country and shoots guns. And I think gun laws, first of all, are much different. If you live out in the fucking woods 100 miles from town, you need a fucking gun. They know police coming out to save you if you call 911, like you got to protect yourself. So I get that. Like, I think it's different if you live in a city than if you live in the country. That's the country argument is,
well, again, it's all about common sense.
I agree. Yeah.
And the problem with all the laws is that we got to take into consideration the dumbest, most retarded motherfucker on the fucking block, and we got to write our laws for that motherfucker, which is stupid.
You're right.
Like, just write what's right, and then when some retard comes along, kill that guy. Get rid of the retards.
Give him a shotgun. Give him 5 minutes in a room, and problem solved.
The problem with laws is like they're there to protect people, but really at the end of the day, you just need common sense. Yeah. I mean, Judge Dredd is really where it's at.
Judge Dredd.
You get judge, executioner, all in one. They look at the situation and they go, okay, this guy's a real pedophile. He just had sex with a 6-year-old.
We're gonna cut off his dick and
just kill him. You don't have to cut off his dick. Just kill him. I mean, that guy was probably raped when he was 6. You don't know.
That's true.
So
it's still cut off his dick, I think.
No.
If it was my child, his dick's get cut off.
I'd just kill him. Just kill him's fine.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know if I could cut off a dick, actually. So that's a lot of work, like. I gotta
first of all, you gotta touch it.
Yeah, exactly. Put my hands on
maybe
it.
You like touching dicks, but there's one dick that I don't mind touching that's mine. All other dicks, I'm out.
How funny is that? We have no problem rubbing our hands all over our own dick, but the idea of touching another dick is like,
it's not my thing.
That's horrific. Why is it so horrific? Why do you think that is?
Because
does it always have to be sexual if you touch another dude's dick?
I don't understand how it can't be.
He has something on it. He's like, hey, can you check out this spot? Or I got a weird little thing on. Would you, if your friend said, I have this weird texture on my dick, can you feel it for me real quick? Tell me what it is. You wouldn't?
Dude, no.
Because a woman would say, look at me, feel my breath, you know, to another woman, the woman would be, no problem. But as guys, I can't say, hey, dude, check out this thing on my balls. Can you?
God, just even talking about it's not good. Right?
It doesn't bother me.
I don't.
I think if he was my really good friend, let's have a look.
Really?
Yeah, let's have a look.
Do you have brothers?
I have one brother.
Oh, there you go. That's why you have a brother. How close in age are you guys?
5 years. He's 5 years older than me.
Okay, well, that's the thing.
I'm almost 40.
So your brother was probably rubbing his cock and balls on you at some point just to fuck with you, right?
Just teabagging me. No, I never
you
got
never
teabagged.
did anything like that.
No. I don't. Maybe when I was asleep. You know.
Whatever. But you have a brother. I don't have a brother. I have a sister.
Maybe it seems more weird to you.
It's weirder.
Did you play a lot of sports? Did you play any sports?
sports?
See, I play a lot of sports,
Yeah.
like, you know, your locker rooms.
You've seen a lot of dicks.
I've seen a lot of dicks.
All the dicks I've seen are two-dimensional on YouPorn and Pornhub.
I mean, I haven't seen other dicks like right up on my face or anything, but I've seen them.
You've been around a lot of dicks.
Been around a lot of dicks.
I haven't been around a lot of in real life. Very little. Even I'm not a big fan of like urinals where there's not separators. I'll go into the stall.
You know what? I do that too, but just because I'm not worried about me seeing another dick.
I'm worried about somebody seeing your big dick, your big hog.
You know, it's not big. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It is what it is. But yeah, you know, just kind of peeking over. Guys fucking do that shit, man. It's kind of weird.
Do they?
Yes.
Here's what I've
at the airport.
Here's what I've never done in my entire life, ever. Like when I'm in the fucking stall, I'm like,
that's me.
I'm blinders. Yeah. I'm not even like if somebody says something, I'm not gonna look at them.
Who says something to you next to this?
Well, if you're peeing next to your friend and they start talking to you, I'm not gonna be like this. I tell you, I was on the road one time, and I won't tell you who it was, even though I'm sure he wouldn't fucking mind. But we were at Check Stop back in the day when they had the worst bathroom in the world for years and years. They've remodeled the bathrooms now because they've made billions of dollars at that place. But at the time it was just two fucked up urinals right next to each other, and then a shitter with no door. Ugh, that was their bathroom.
Fucking hell.
And I was on the road, and this guy who was subbing for one of the guys in my band was peeing like this. Doing this. Peeing in the urinal, no separator, just lounging and just chatting, like blah blah blah, chit chatting. Here, and I didn't have to look at that guy's dick.
Yeah,
but here's what I know about that guy's dick: long and long archy dick on this motherfucker for sure. Here's what I'm not doing. Even maybe at home, alone, naked. Maybe I'm doing this, but not at a fucking urinal with my dick hanging out.
How about these guys that put one hand up on the wall? You know those guys. You know what the fuck, man? That's a
drunk.
Disgusting.
I think that's a drinking thing.
Maybe
I think that's your drinking
to keep your balance.
I think you're drinking. You need to.
I feel like older guys do, like it's an older sort of,
maybe
thing, like
maybe an older.
I don't know what that is though. Like,
yeah, you don't. That's a germ. I think that's drinking.
I think
that's drugs or drunk.
It's fucking disgusting to me. Like, what's on that wall?
You don't touch anything. I don't touch anything. I don't flush the urinal. Fuck that. I'm not flushing shit.
I will flush with my foot.
Yeah, with my foot.
Yeah, I'll do my foot. And I'm one of those guys that I wash my hand and then I use the paper towel to grab the door and on the way out and then throw it.
I don't wash my hands. I don't touch anything except I don't touch anything.
You know, I heard this argument from a friend of mine who said, why do we wash our hands after we piss? Why aren't we washing them before we touch our dicks?
I don't wash my hands. But yeah, if I'm going to wash my hands, it'll be before because they're covered in,
that's my thing. I wash before I touch my dick.
Another man's cum. And I don't want to get that cum on my dick. That's the only time I'm washing my hands.
That's so gross.
That is gross.
That's so gross.
Well, have we done it? And we I feel like we've done it. Have we covered everything?
Yeah, man, we have. Can I just ask you a few questions real quick from these fans that I forgot? One word answers, you know, just boom, boom.
Okay.
We'll just knock them out real quick because they're going to kill me if I don't ask you this stuff. I don't want, they're already going to write, fuck you, Patrick, you dumb fuck. You know, they already fucking hate me. Okay. Let's see these people. I mean, it was a ton of people. So it's called the Family.
What?
Family? Faymily.
Oh, really?
You haven't heard this?
Well, I have so I wrote a musical a while back called Fuck All You Motherfuckers.
That's it.
FAYM. Fuck all you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And so I sell shirts and sweatshirts that say
it had that. Okay.
And so
that's where it came from. Okay.
My
I didn't know what that meant. I was like, they don't know how to spell family. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Oh, damn, these guys, poor guys.
So I never heard of the Family, but I like it.
It's it's that's what it is. There's a group on there. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so let's just get you. Okay, real quick. This is from Miranda Herdine. What's your favorite venue to play at?
Green Hall.
Are there any songs you won't play again?
No, not really. I mean, there's songs I don't like that people request a lot, like Ass Knocker is a song that people request quite a bit that I'm like, I've played it a bunch.
Yeah, right on.
But but I'll play it.
Yeah.
I won't not play it.
There's not one song in you're like, nope, never gonna touch that song. No. Oh, that's good.
I did write a song called Sad Old Lonely Lady that I played one time. And I was like, I'll probably never play that again. It came a little close to hitting home with some of my fans. So
oh, really?
Yeah, I just didn't want to play it again.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, here we go. What song had the line? Well, I don't know if they wrote this wrong. I twayed my dick last night. It weighed a pound. I guess they meant I weighed my dick last night. Mm-hmm. That's from Chris Cunningham. I don't know.
Yeah, that was what song is that? I don't know. I can't think of it. But I do have a song like that.
That has that line in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to know. Well, anyway. Will you be writing an autobiography anytime soon?
I've been working on trying to do that, but I've realized I'm not like writing long form like that is really
you'd get like a ghostwriter or something.
Yeah, I think what I've been trying to do is, first of all, I've like made a list of all these sort of things that have happened to me. And then I try to I've been trying to do it a piece at a time. So I'll like try to write a couple paragraphs telling the story of like these little things that have happened in the past. And I'm just not good at writing that way. So I think what'll eventually end up happening is I'll just have to get a tape recorder, tell some stories, give it to somebody who knows how to write, and then have them put it into some kind of a biography.
Oh, that's much better, man. Or just write them a bunch of songs. I don't know. Maybe that's too much, right?
Well, my songs aren't autobiographical, so you're not going to learn a lot about me from listening to the songs.
That's interesting.
See, I mean, it is.
You kind of some of it is or bits and pieces maybe are.
It's very small bits and pieces, not enough to like really make a difference. The part that's autobiographical is the emotional content of the song. So if the song's sad, or if the song's angry, or if the song's happy or silly or romantic, or I'm in love or whatever, then that's the way I'm feeling when I wrote the song.
Real,
but the actual events that happen in the song, the things that I'm talking about aren't real. And people that write that way, I'm not interested in at all, because I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Like, oh, my heart's I'm hurting because he left me, or he won't talk to me. I'm like, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. I don't care about you, and I don't care what happened.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to write something that's interesting or clever or makes me feel a certain way because of the way that you've worded it, I'm all in.
Yeah.
But just because it happened to you doesn't make it interesting to me.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. No, I like that. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Let's just do one more here. Let's do the best one. That's not a good one.
Let's narrow not the good one.
Okay, fuck. Okay, Carol, I didn't mean that. Carol Drinker Trees. She wrote, "How does he like his coffee?"
Black.
Does he like rats?
No, I have rat phobia.
Does he like Dr. Pepper?
I used to love Dr. Pepper, but I've tried to not drink sugar for a while now.
Yeah, I don't drink sodas really either. What kind of car do you drive?
I have a Lexus.
Boom. That's it.
That's it.
I mean, we got a ton more. I don't want to,
keep them coming.
Okay, right
Let's try to get as many.
This is Ted Braunstein. Between music, art, writing, how many hours a night do you sleep?
I don't sleep for very long. I usually sleep for 3 or 4 hours at a time, but I usually sleep multiple times during the day. So like I'll sleep for 4 hours, then I'll be up for 4 or 5 hours, then I'll sleep for an hour and a half. I'll be up for 4 or 5 hours, sleep for an hour and a half, and then I kind of do that schedule.
I do that a lot too, man. Take siestas,
Yeah.
I'm all about la siesta. Yeah. Do you do any voice exercises?
No.
Okay. Do you get nervous? This is from Elizabeth Gleaton. Do you get nervous? Oh, wait, what? Does he get nervous when he sees me in the crowd? What the fuck? You don't even know who that lady is. Sorry, Elizabeth. I don't know. You probably
the answer is probably.
Yeah.
I don't know who you are, but probably. If you're asking, probably.
Yeah.
That means you're probably.
Oh, the same guy that asked you about the voice exercise at Ted Bronson. He said, ask him why he never calls on me when taking requests. At every goddamn New York area solo show for years, I'm pissed, but in a I'm not really pissed kind of way, I guess. Dissed by Bob is cooler than dissed by anyone else on the planet.
Okay, first of all, you're not a chick, so that's the main reason. All right.
There you go, Ted. Put on a wig next time, brother.
Yeah.
You might get some. Oh, well, this says, ask him about his recent trip to Italy. Can you actually relax on vacation, or does the art haunt you? That's from Judy Brackett Anderson.
The art haunts me. I like what I do. Like, my life is a vacation. So vacations are, for me, less enjoyable than my real life.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I enjoy vacations. I enjoy being forced into them. I usually end up having a good time. But in general, I like my life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So getting away from it, like most of us, right, guys? All of us pretty much hate our lives, so we like vacation, I think. Any chance of Scabs or Bluegrass Massacre ever making appearance again?
Maybe Bluegrass Massacre, not Scabs. One of the guys died.
I don't know what that is.
Scabs is a band that was real big in the 90s here, and then we kept playing shows through the 2000s, and then stopped probably about 7 or 8 years ago, and then we haven't played any gigs since. But one of the guys died. I don't think we'll ever do another Scab show.
Okay, there you go. Michael R. Gray. That was from Michael R. Gray. Okay, Miranda Herdine. I think that's another one from her. Oh, no, I just asked you that. Oh, is there a venue on your bucket list that you haven't performed at yet? That's a good question, actually.
No. Oh, Red Rocks.
Okay,
yeah,
Red Rocks. Boom.
Love to play there.
And also, what's your typical Cane's order look like?
Caniac combo.
The Caniac combo. Okay. Is that a good one? I don't know. I haven't been to Cane's in like ever.
It sounds good, doesn't it?
That sounds great. Caniac. Kari. Oh, Jesus, I'll fuck up these names. I'm sorry, guys. Kari Kusisto. Are there? Oh no, I just asked you that. I asked you if there was songs you wouldn't play again. Oh, when are you coming to Phoenix, Arizona, Bob?
I don't know.
That's from Abigail Jean Skaggs. And Carol Drinker Tree says, likewise, Indianapolis.
Don't know.
Okay. Carol Drinker Trees, again, I can't listen to what? Oh, that's stupid. Okay, hang on. This is from Mundy, but this person goes as fans of Bob Schneider. Like, that's their name or whatever. Do you like reggae?
No. I love it.
Good answer, Bob. That's a good answer.
She knew that. That's an inside joke.
Oh, and they also she said that, or I don't know if that's a she or he. You just said she, right?
I don't know.
Okay, Mundy. They gave you some sort of birthday gift recently, like like a book with stuff in it, like a scrapbook.
Yeah.
Jeez, I couldn't come up with the word for that. Yeah, they gave you a scrapbook recently. So, what did you think of that?
I actually have not looked at it yet. It's great. I got it after a show like a couple of nights ago.
Yep.
and it's still in the Sprinter. I have actually not opened that bag yet, so I'll have to
okay,
look into
get into it, check that stuff out.
I will say this, like the idea of looking at a scrapbook that's a fan made for me sounds I have some trepidation. The lady that gave me the gift though seemed normal.
Yeah.
But I have gotten some like pretty crazy fans who have made stuff for me that was real scary.
Like a doll made out of your hair?
No, nothing. Just like, you know, people that were obviously off, you know, not right. Yeah. This lady seemed normal, and I'm sure whatever she made for me is nice. I just, you know, I put it in the van and then went to sleep and I forgot about it. It's in there. I'll have to just check it out. I haven't looked at it yet.
Brandy Joe Fontanet LeBlanc Miller. Holy Jesus, lady. Got a long ass name. Do you ever feel like ripping your shirt off in the middle of playing a song on the Monday night live stream?
No.
Asking for a friend.
No. Good God.
But a response that was kind of funny. He does it almost every week. You just aren't paying close enough attention. So
that's funny.
Will you, this is from the same Brandy Joe. Will you ever play a cover of Brandy?
No. I mean, maybe. I'm not going to say no, but probably not. Just because we don't do covers.
Girl. Yeah, I mean, you know,
yeah,
that would be weird to just all of a sudden whip out a cover, right?
Well, especially now that she asked for it, I probably wouldn't do it for sure. Because then, I don't know, she's, yeah, probably not.
Probably not. Okay, no worries. Did you ever make a wish that you thought was impossible, and did it come true?
Well, I will say when I was playing in bands, I remember writing like a sort of a mission statement for my life. And one of the things was like, I want to record albums and play as Bob Schneider. And that seemed at the time like an impossible dream.
Okay.
Like it just seemed like pretty far-fetched. So, but I wrote it down anyways. And now that I'm doing it, obviously it's like, oh, that wasn't that impossible. But at the time it seemed pretty far-fetched.
Like that. Yeah, totally. This is from Jared Neal Linham. Hope I'm saying that right. Please tell Bob from his good buddy, Jared Neal Linham, that we appreciate how hard he still works to bring us the goods. Tell him we don't take him for granted. So that's nice, right?
That's sweet. Let's do, how many more are there?
I mean, that's
a lot.
I mean, there's might be just a few more.
All right, let's get through the rest of them then.
Okay, real quick.
There's only a few more.
Yeah, there's just really just a few more. Ask him why he references the sea in almost every song.
I don't know. I use the sea, the sky, the stars.
I do too. I do that a lot.
You know, they're just like iconic, sort of easy, you know, shapes.
I like water. I talk about a lot of water in my songs. I like water.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, they mean a lot of things. Everybody knows what they are. They're pretty generic, but they can mean a bunch of stuff. It's just simple sort of building blocks that I use in a lot of my songs. There's no real reason. Yeah. I wasn't like born on the sea or something, or my dad's not a sailor or some bullshit. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah. I do love the beach. I do talk a lot about the beach a lot in my songs.
And the sea rhyme, that word sea rhymes with everything.
Absolutely.
So it's easy.
Oh yeah, sea's great. Sky too. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah, you can't go wrong there. What new music? This from Elizabeth Gleaton again. What new music or musicians are you into?
We just played a show with Dr. Dog, who I'd never heard of.
Fucking love Dr. Dog. I lived in Philadelphia. Yeah. I love Dr. Dog.
I like Flaming Lips, and it's like kind of.
Damn, you just played a show with Dr. Dog? Damn, that's awesome. I love them, man. I really do. I love them so much, man. They're awesome.
And I'd never heard of them before, and then was pleasantly surprised. But they do remind me of Flaming Lips, and their Flaming Lips are one of my favorite bands ever.
Man, I went to see them a few times, and I had the best time.
Dr. Dog?
Yeah, at their shows. Like, it was just so awesome. I mean, I remember we placed a song in Dallas. I felt like I thought we were going to fall through to the bottom of the floor. I mean, it was just so... Yeah. I'd never been at a concert like that before.
I will say I love the newest Conor Oberst records.
Okay.
He did a rec 2016 where it was him solo, and then in 2017 he recorded a lot of those songs with a real band or with a full band.
Yeah.
And both those records are my favorite thing I've heard in 10 years.
Holy shit. Wow. That's quite a compliment. That's really good compliment. I asked you about New Orleans, right? When are you going back to New Orleans or Mobile? Oh, I don't think I asked you that. Yeah, who knows? You already told the story. Jana Meyer, he already told the story behind FAYM, right? You told the story behind that. Same person. Jana Meyer. When you size up potential band member for the Monday night shows at Saxon Pub, how much does the weirdness factor play in your decision to hire them? She says, love Ollie. His weirdness is a big plus.
Well, I mean, I've been using the same band forever. I don't think about weirdness. I just think about how good of a player they are. And all those guys are great players. I don't think of like how weird they are. I don't think about anything except for their ability to play music, really.
Yeah, right on. That's a good answer. Oh, this is a good question. Linda, so I got two more. Linda Little Wenlot. God, can people, there's nobody got a normal name on here. Does your daughter show any signs of being musically inclined or gifted? Has his son continued to experiment musically? No,
my son's not doing anything really with music right now. He's into sports and video games, but he does have some real talent in both art and music. My daughter is an incredible actress. I don't know how that's going to extend into music, but as far as like being an actor and a dancer and a ham, she's amazing. She's incredible. Yeah,
that's awesome. Okay, this is the last question. Christina Cass. Any gig with I might have asked you. Oh, I already asked you that. The Texas Bluegrass Massacre, right? I already asked you about that. Okay, well, that's it. Oh no. What? One question from Johnny Gowdy. He did have a question. Does he look fat in those shorts? And he's in his shorts that he wears.
Does he look fat?
Yeah.
He's fucking as skinny as a goddamn fucking skinny as you can get before you start looking like you got a problem. No, he looks wonderful. Skinny. He's a handsome. In fact, I saw him. Handsome, I saw him on your podcast, and I was just like, has he gotten fucking younger and better looking than the last time I saw him, which was probably like a year ago?
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on with that guy? He's a handsome, good looking. No, he doesn't look fat.
Right. He looks good. Yeah, he looks good, man.
Yeah.
That's all the questions, Bob. I think we got everybody's fans.
All right. Well,
questions on. What do you think? Did you have a good time on the podcast?
I had a good time. I had a great time. Thanks awesome. For having me on your.
Absolutely.
Let's do it again sometime.
Oh, dude. Anytime, man.
All right.
Anytime. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace out. Thanks, Bob. That was great, man.
Yeah, man. It's easy. I like doing it. Oh, I should tell people I have a podcast. Will you let people know?
Guys, we're not done yet. Bob has a podcast, the Song Club Podcast. Right, I'm saying that right? Song Club Podcast. Check it out on bobschneider.com.
Save you from the spell. I can help you get right through. Stick around like super